Well, what now? After first day of racing in a real long time, it's in the garage and the hood's up. That can't be good. After a very frustrating evening at the racetrack, I've honestly never gone that slow in my life. And I don't know. I guess you don't know what you don't know. And obviously, I don't know much. Um, Went slower than I ever did, but the beauty of it was my I had the traction that I needed, and off the line, I could launch it from 2,500 RPM on the brake and seemed to launch really good and then just fall flat on its face. So anyway, launch is solved, maybe, and now a buddy of mine was in the stands and he told me he could see it blowing black, black, black all the way down the track. So I'm going to say that's obviously rich. I will pull the plugs and have a look at it that way too. But I've been sitting on an AEM O2 air fuel ratio meter gauge for way too long. And instead of wasting away my day sitting at a car show downtown, I'm gonna install this O2 gauge and see where we go from there. Wish me luck. Now this is the kit. I guess I could have done an unboxing video, but those are kind of dumb. So I didn't. I didn't think of it either. But anyway, this here is the gauge that I'm going to use. It comes with a weld-in bung, wiring harness, another wiring harness, O2 sensor, and an alternate face, I guess, if you want a white face. But you know what, whatever. That doesn't really... I'm more interested in what it reads and how it looks, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think I'm going to make it as a permanent installation. I think it's going to be... I mean, it'll look permanent enough, I guess, but I've also got the header bung in my truck as well. And it'll be something that I can switch back and forth from vehicle to vehicle, anything that's got the bung in welded in there. So we'll see if it works out. Now, because of all the AC hoses and related paraphernalia and bullshit, this is not the easiest to work on, but this is far and away the easier side. Getting all the header bolts and whatnot are no big deal, and it should slide out from below fairly easily, if I remember. If not, I'm going to have to probably blank out a whole bunch of cuss words and whatnot, because I'll be not too pretty happy. Well, I'm not sure how much of this you can see, but anyway, the idler arm had to come out so that the steering on the side would drop, and the torsion bar had to pop back, and now we got a header laying on the floor. And of course, I forgot to take a picture or a video or any shit like that of this while it was out on the bench. But anyway, it looks better than this video is going to make it look. But that's my bung, and it's in a good spot. The O2 sensor will be out of the way of everything, and it's not going to touch anything, and it'll be nice just to wire it up and in there. So anyway, that's what we got. So now wiring this thing up couldn't be easier if it tried. There's 4 wires. There's a blue and a white, which I've actually taped back here, and there's a red and a black. What do you think the red and the black would be for? Red and the black are for red key on positive and black just to negative. So we're gonna wire that up and keep on going. Now I am wiring this thing in to be removable. I mean, will I ever remove it? I don't know. But it's just going to be quick and easy to remove. And if I want to install it in the truck or whatever like that. So what I did is I just gonna put a little keyed power plug-in that if I'm not using it for this, I can use it for something else. If I'm not using it at all, it'll just be tied up under the dash there for whatever the hell I might need it for. But anyway, that's the approach I'm taking. I'm just gonna throw this power supply in here right now. In this other wiring harness, this big end just plugs into the O2 sensor, and that plugs into the back of the gauge. Nothing really to do other than route it in a nice safe spot where it's not going to get all buggered up. So I bought this little Autometer gauge pod because I'm actually going to mount it on my console just in front of my shifter, kind of reminiscent of some of those old console mounted tacks, but hopefully it'll look good. My big thing is I want to keep it kind of out of plain view because I think these things are pretty friggin' bright at night. But yeah, this is what I'm going to use. Hopefully it looks as good as I think it's gonna. Now this piece here, I just took a leather punch and I punched a second hole in there because it's actually got two cables coming out of it. Now I know that second hole is smaller than I expected it to be, but it's rubber, so hopefully it should goob around there, work out just right. Now I don't know how widely available this stuff is. It's, I don't know, you can find it just about everywhere here in Canada, but you know what? I use this stuff a lot and it works really well. It's clear, which is what I really like about it, and it's an adhesive. It stays fairly rubbery. I mean, if you want to, you can use it for weather stripping. You can use it for whatever. I actually used it to glue that that gauge pod down to my console. Now it's super easily removable. It holds like a Joe damn, but it stays rubbery enough that it's not that hard at all to remove, and it saves me from having to drill a hole in my console or anything like that. It's pretty good temporary permanent stuff. Well, that's where it ended up. It actually being all black like that, it kind of blends in down there. Hopefully it's gonna just sort of become part of the background and it's not gonna be all that noticeable. I know when it's on, it's gonna be lit up and it's gonna be far brighter and whatnot, and whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I want the reading, so I'm gonna have to put up a little bit of BS from it. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with the installation so far. Now I'm gonna maybe have a quick read of the directions and see what I need to know before I fire it up the first time. Look at me thinking ahead and all this kind of stuff. Maybe I'm even growing up. So fortunately, this whole setup comes pre-factory set to just run on gasoline, naturally aspirated motor. So I didn't have to touch anything, didn't have to do anything. As soon as my glue dries and I'm happy with everything, I'll tuck those cables all up and tie them up out of the way. And we'll put some power to this and see what happens. Well, once I got everything back together, it started to rain. So I'm not gonna be able to take it for a drive and get any kind of AFR readings today. But in the next little while, I'm gonna be chasing my tune-up and figuring out what the heck's going on, including showing you my plugs, which look like they're kind of all over the place. And I'm going to be looking for a little bit of help with that. So for now, the AFR gauge is installed, and all that means is I just get to start off chasing my tail, trying to make this thing as fast or as unslow as I possibly can. Anyways, thanks for watching.